Hey guys, this is Camfrey15, and I am here talking Angels baseball. Now, on my channel, I used to talk a little bit of Angels baseball. Um, what is it? A few years ago. Then I stopped watch. Now, or well, I didn't stop watching. I stopped talking about them because they would always suck and never do anything of relevance other than Mike Trout doing Mike Trout things and Otani doing Otani things. But yes, the Angels, I know as of late or as of the start of the season have looked relatively good. And I have been impressed with what I've seen. Now ultimately, I'm still with a I guess you can say an eye raiser because just because the Angels have started out pretty good, that doesn't mean that I believe this team is going to make the playoffs. Like everybody I see on Twitter is claiming that this team is different and is going to make the playoffs. Mind you, it is what it is. But also, I just want to make a mention what a great win by the Angels today. I'm going to have to go rewatch the game. But I thought the Angels were going to lose the series to the Washington Nationals in pretty embarrassing fashion, playing down to their competition that isn't good. And they were going to roll into the Tampa Bay series where the Tampa Bay Rays typically dominate us. So, yes. But, anyways, I know I'm a few days short. I'm like, what is it, 8 days short of this video? I should have made this video April 30th. Or May 1st or something like that and got it up. But this is my Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim 2022/2023 season. My April review of the season. I'm not gonna go into like the high crazy statisticals and statistics and stuff that the Angels have done. It's like that. I'll acknowledge some statistics and stuff like that in terms of how players are. Well, I probably won't, but you know, I just want to give my 2 cents and my thoughts on how the Angels did in the month of April. And I will be looking to do that probably for the rest of the season in terms of so when May is over with, I'll make a month of May recap for the Angels. And hopefully, like I said, they're at least in the first/second place area in the AL West. And still pretty dang good. But again, if you want to understand why I'm so skeptical of the Angels, the reason why I'm so skeptical of the Angels, and if you're just an Angels fan, just watching this, or just an MLB fan, the reason why I'm so skeptical of the Angels and why you might hear me say, like, oh yes, the Angels, they're good now. But a month later or 2 months later or sometime in the All-Star break, we could be third or fourth place in the division again, where the Angels have constantly been the past couple of years. And the reason why I'm skeptical is because this team hasn't shown me any results to why I should have confidence, why I should get my hopes up, why I should believe in this team. Yes, I'm happy that the team is good right now and the team is winning games. But for only reasons why I don't get to invest in this team, where I'm going out on Twitter saying I love this team, everything, and I'm one of the people, I'm one of the probably the Angels fans that right now I'm just skeptical because until I see us playing in October, when the playoffs start, that's when I will be okay. I'm all in on the Angels bandwagon, only to probably be let down again in either the wild card game or whatever first round game we have if we win the division, and stuff like that. Um, so it's like that's kind of my thing. This team hasn't made the playoffs since 2014. And I think this team doesn't owe me anything, or I don't owe this team anything. If anything, this team owes me, an Angel fan, to find a way to win games and get into the playoffs. So, don't judge me for being an Angels fan when, or a skeptical Angels fan and saying you're kind of being a little bit too negative. The reason why I'm negative on this team a lot more than likely than positive is because I'm sick and tired of the constant BS of not doing anything truly, having two of the best players on our team who are arguably two of the best players in this current generation of the MLB, and we're not making the playoffs. Even though I know we're in a tough division with the Houston Astros, but still, there's no excuses. We can't make a wild card game at least. Like, I'm just even asking just to get to the wild card. I don't care if we lose in the wild card game. That's all I care about. If we just get into the dance, I think the Angels have a pretty good shot. So hopefully this year they win games. They look solid. So yeah, but let's go over the month of April in terms of the games. Their first series was against the Houston Astros. I actually went to the opening day game, sadly, and the Angels lost that game 3-1. The only thing I remember from that game is it looked like Anthony Rendon was going to hit a home run, but it was just slightly foul. So that was kind of the thing there. And other than that, I was like, well, yep, your typical Angels thing. They can't win the big games and beat the Astros. And next game, they get blown out 13-6. But they managed to win the one game Noah Syndergaard pitched in, which was the 2-0 victory. And then the Astros ended up beating us. And that was the series there. We ended up playing a 2-game set with the Marlins, the Miami Marlins. We swept the Marlins, which I'm like, obviously that's what the Angels need to do. And, I want to get this off the way. Angels winning series, is a big reason to why I believe they can make the playoffs this year. If you win majority of your series this year, you can find yourself in the playoffs this year. If you end up losing series like the Angels have done in the past, well, then you will not make the playoffs. And then the next thing is you got to beat teams that you know that you can beat. And I'm not saying the Angels should sweep every series of teams. I know games like last night against the Nationals will happen where you'll lose a game. I'm fine with that. Win the series before going into another potential series. That's all you do. That's the only thing. So it's like, for me, it's either this. Win the series or split series if it's 4-game series. So, or if it's a National League 2-game series, at least split the series. So after the Miami Marlins series, the Angels went to the Texas Rangers place in Arlington. They lost the first matchup 5-10 or 10-5. And I'm like, oh, great. Here we go. You can't beat the AL West rivals, which is another point that I want to make. The Angels have to, for this year, they also want to make the playoffs. They have to beat teams within their division. They gotta win some games against the Astros. Even though the Astros are really good, they gotta win some games and take some games against them. You gotta beat the Texas Rangers. You gotta beat the Seattle Mariners, who look to be a solid baseball team. You gotta definitely beat the Oakland A's, who after this Tampa Bay Rays series, we're going to Oakland next. So you gotta beat the teams within your division if you want to stand a chance. But then going forward, the Angels win the next 3 games and they win the series. They win the next game 9-6. Then the third game 7-2, and then the last game 8-3. Then they went to Houston and they actually took the series against Houston. Michael Lorenzen in the first game didn't do too good, but then the Astros, then the Angels ended up winning the next 2 games 7-2 and then 6-0, which I believe that was the game Ohtani pitched in, and he absolutely shut down the Astros that game. The Angels got to an early lead that game from what I remember, and they freaking Ohtani just went and dealed the entire game. Then you had a home series against the Baltimore Orioles, and that was probably the most disappointing series of the season so far, because you have the Baltimore Orioles, who are not a good team, rolling into town, and they take 2 of the 3 games in the series. And I was absolutely freaking pissed off at that point. Because even though the Baltimore Orioles are not the worst team in baseball, by far the worst base team in baseball are the fucking Cincinnati Reds. And I don't know what the hell they're doing over there, because I don't know what the heck's going on in Cincinnati. And if anything, the Cincinnati Red fans should be protesting just as badly as the Oakland A's fans. How the hell can you support that product over there in Cincinnati? I'll say this. At least they got the Cincinnati Bengals, who look to be a really good team over there in Cincinnati. They almost won the Super Bowl this past season. At least they have something in Cincinnati, Ohio to actually look forward to watching. The Reds, they actually had a solid team last year. And then all of a sudden, they get rid of all that stuff. And they're like freaking 3 and something. They suck. But Yeah, the Oreo series was the worst series of the year for me so far. Slash, this was definitely the worst series loss. I honestly think this was probably the worst games. The first two Oreos games, I thought they were the worst two games of the freaking season, in my opinion. You should win those games against the Baltimore Orioles. So hopefully that when we get over, whenever we go back to Baltimore, we pay those guys back. Then you had a 4-game set with the Guardians, and we swept the Guardians so shockingly because the Guardians typically, Cleveland, whether they're the Indians or the Guardians, whatever, they typically kick our ass and they always beat us. But we made sure to like shut them down and beat them fairly easily. Toughest game being the third game, but we pretty much handled our business there. And then to end out the month of May or the month of April, we ended up playing the Chicago White Sox. Now we did end up winning. When we did end up winning said series, or no, we split with the White Sox. We did end up splitting with the White Sox. So yeah, the first game was good. The second game was not good. The third game, that was a nail biter that had me on my tippy toes, but I'll talk more about that in my month of May recap. And then the Angels had a very disappointing 3-0 loss to the White Sox. But yeah. So I want to get things out the way in terms of news and stuff like that. Joe Adell. Well, actually, I'll save Joe Adell for later. David Fletcher. He went on the IL again. Apparently he's got a hip issue and he left to go to Philadelphia to get like an opinion or second opinion on what's going on with his hip. I know for some reason David Fletcher is like, some Angel fans are like completely bashing on David Fletcher. Maybe the injury is a potential reason to why he's not playing as well as he should be. But there is an Angel portion on Angel Twitter that is just sick and tired of David Fletcher. Personally, I like David Fletcher. I think he can still serve a solid role. It's going to take a while for me before I get off this whole David Fletcher bandwagon, but we're just gonna have to see. With the fact that he's getting a second opinion, it's a hip. He's probably gonna have to get surgery, and then he's probably gonna more than likely be out for the year. That's just probably it. So yeah, that's kind of the big deal. Joe Adell. Yeah, Joe Adell. He didn't really have a good month of April. I would be kind enough to say if he had a solid April. I thought Joe Adell was okay so far in the big leagues, but he's really doing nothing to improve. The thing is, in some cases, in my eyes, he looks a little bit overwhelmed, overmatched at the plate. And then, good heavens. The defensive blunders in the outfield, man. I don't know how much more I can put up with that. Yeah, but he ended up being sent down to AAA Salt Lake. And I guess somebody gave him an interview and he was honestly shocked by the move. Now, my response to Joe Adell, especially if he's watching this video, why are you shocked? You're not seeing the plate well at the MLB level. And of course, he steps back down to AAA. He's raking. He's hitting home runs. He's hitting doubles. He's doing this. Yes, because it's AAA. Yes, you can play devil advocate and say, well, he hasn't had enough big league starts. He's only 22, and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, he's like our top prospect. So regardless, he should be playing a lot better than what he is doing. I understand that he's young. And everything. But listen, at the end of the day, you're at the big league level. You get called up to the big league levels because you produced in AAA. And the thing is this, again, I see Joe Adell producing in AAA. He's raking, he's hitting home runs and stuff like that. That's great. That's great. Can he do it at the big league level? Can he do it at the MLB level? Because so far, I have not seen that. Yes, he had some nice moments last year and everything. But he did struggle a few times last year too. He looked better a little last year because he got more at bats, more playing time. And I think that's also kind of another reason why he isn't doing so well, because for some reason, the way how the outfielders are just managed, it's just like Yeah, it's not the best. Obviously you got Trout, who's a mainstay at center. Taylor Ward, which I'll get into in a second, who's been on a breakout tear, who seemingly has made his home out there in right field. And he's played really good this year for the Angels. It seems like more than likely enough, he's got a place, and really it's that left outfield, no, that right outfield spot. And everything that just needs to be thing. And kind of the whole thing Joe Maddon's doing is he was platooning Martian Adele. And personally, I believe you can't really do that because these are both young players and they both need at bats so they can adjust to the major league level. Now, personally, if you ask me, I think Brandon Marsh has looked a lot better than Joe Adele has this season. And if you ask me, I think right now he is the better player and he's definitely more MLB ready than Joe Adele, because what are the things? Even though Marsh has been going through kind of a cold spell as of late, he still can hit the ball fairly well. He's got like 2 home runs within the last 2 games. I'm not asking for much, but he's got some hits. And then the number one important thing, he plays much better defense than Joe Adele, especially in the left field, and stuff like that. Listen, my thing on Joe is I like the dude. I think he's a good, solid player. I really do believe he's a good, solid player. But if you ask me, if his defense doesn't get any better in the outfield, what point does he serve on the Angels? Like, I made this tweet earlier today. I said, what true role does Joe Adele truly do? Like, what true role does Joe Adele have on this team other than being a platooning outfielder? You can't. He has bad defense, so it's always a gamble and a risk to put him out there in the outfield because he sometimes takes bad jumps. He's not seeing the ball well. He's fumbling the ball, just trying to get into his mitt. He sometimes doesn't throw to the right area where it should be thrown, like in the White Sox game, how he freaking was fumbling the ball in the outfield, and yet he should have thrown it out to the cutoff man. But he's looking to throw it. He throws it somewhere completely else. He's not smart in the outfield. He makes his defensive blunders that end up costing the team. And the Angels saw that and like, no, we got to send this guy down. So, that's the whole thing. And like I said, Joe Adele's raking in AAA. Okay. He looks really good in AAA, but he gets called up to the big leagues. It's like he's too big for it's too big for the moment for him. It's like he's not ready yet. So, Joe Adele can potentially be shocked, pissed off, mad of why the Angels sent him down back to AAA. But the only guy he has to look at is himself. He's not playing up to what you need to be at the big league level. You're going to make simple mistakes like, things in the outfield that should already be corrected. Well, then guess what? What's the point of being on the roster? If you're not seeing the plate well at the plate after getting called up at the major league level, what's the point? And again, going to the roles of this team. Typically, in any event, if this was any normal team, you would just move him at the DH spot and just have him be a DH so you don't have to put him out in the outfield and you can hide his hitting deficiencies. But who is the DH of this team more than likely every damn day, with the exception of a few days off? Shohei Ohtani. He's going to be a mainstay at the DH. He's not a positional player. He's just a DH and a pitcher. So truly, you can't put Joe Adele at the DH position unless Shohei Ohtani has a day off. So truly, what role does Joe Adele have on this team? Nothing. And Angel fans have thrown out the whole theory of, you know what? Since we don't know what we're going to do with Joe Adele, trade him. He still has the potential of being a breakout star. And honestly, if you ask me, looking at it more and more, I think trading Joe Adele is probably the best thing for what the Angels can do and the best thing for him, because then he can go somewhere. A team will call him. He can get the necessary playing time. Again, mind you, how much will that team be willing to put up with his outfield defensive blunders? And personally, if you ask me, Joe Adele's better in right field than left field. But even then, he would still make blunders from time to time in right field because I've seen it before in the past, especially when he first got called up, making those blunders. Remember the infamous blunders where he would freaking go up for the catch and he doesn't secure the catch. The ball bounces out of his mitt, and it just ends up being a home run. You remember that it happened in Texas, and it happened again when we played the Dodgers a few years back. Do you guys remember that? So I think the best thing for the Angels to do is more than likely, and they don't really know what to do with him. Best thing Perry Miasian can do right now, call up a team that's willing to take Jo Adell in a trade, and hopefully you get a reliever to add to your bullpen, or what I prefer more, you get a rotational piece in your rotation to help out that fourth spot that nobody truly knows what's going on, because it's like a mixture of this AAA dude stuff, unless we're waiting for Griffin Canning to come back from injury. So that's my whole thing about the whole Jo Adell situation. I think the best thing is this. I think maybe the best thing is this that's going to happen. They're going to call him back up again, and they're going to see, okay, let's see, you made some results in AAA. Prove to us. And I think this is going to be Adell's last shot to try to impress the Angels. I know, like I said, he's young, and he's only 22. But at some point, you're not living up to what you are. And you're supposed to be, at a point, he was the Angels' top prospect. But he's not playing like that. Maybe, yes, he maybe needs more at-bats. But so far, he hasn't proven anything. I think the next time he gets called up, I really do believe it's going to be his last shot with the Angels. They're going to be like, okay, dude, you better put some results in. Otherwise, it's not going to work out. And I think that's when they'll trade him, whether that's at the deadline or whether that's in the offseason next season. And honestly, like I said, I think trading him might be the best thing for him in his career. Because for a young player like him, there's no guarantees that the next team you get traded to will be willing to give you a shot. And they might be even quicker than the Angels were with their leash. And it might wake him up to really take advantage and understand, I got to play better. Like I said, I don't know what Jo Adell's seeing out there. I think he's just very upset and very mad that the Angels told him you're going to be sent down to AAA. And again, I don't blame him. I'd probably be mad too. You would think I worked my ass off to get to the MLB. Now they're sending me back down again. But you just look at the statistics. He's not good, and he sucks in the outfield. So hopefully Adell goes up from here on out whenever he gets called back up. But I do believe next time he gets called up, listen, he better play good. Otherwise, Perry Miasian's going to be like, all right, we gotta find some way to get something for this team to be competitive. We don't need to waste our time with a prospect, essentially. So we'll see where that Jo Adell stuff is going on. So yeah. In terms of some other teams, or I guess I can say I want to point out. I guess in some other team players that have impressed me a lot. Taylor Ward has been a shocking surprise of a player. He just had that one run of games where he won player of the month. That was especially in that Guardian series where he just went off. He was hitting home runs. He was putting in results, and he was raking. And Taylor Ward was always that one guy was like, especially for me, I was like, I don't know about him. And, he was one of our best prospects in our farm system. And, right now he's 28 and he's putting in the results. And that's why some people who are Adell fans are saying, look at Taylor Ward. It took him some time for him to finally break out. The same thing could potentially happen for Adell. The only problem with that is we can't wait for that. So, yeah. But I'm just absolutely shocked that Taylor Ward is doing what he's doing. And then he's put in the leadoff position. He had a very clutch at bat in that Orioles game where he managed to get a walk to bring in the run, and he was fouling off pitches after pitches after pitches and made sure to draw the walk to get the run in that ended up being the winning run. Really good stuff there. I'm very impressed with Taylor Ward, and he has been a very shocking surprise for the season this year. Honestly, if you ask me, he's so far my biggest surprise this season, and definitely an underrated candidate for obviously what he's given us this season. So yeah, Mike Trout, he's doing Mike Trout things. He was killing it. He killed it in the month of April. There was just a stretch where he was just dominant. And Mike Trout's just showing why he's again still, even though Shohei Ohtani's doing his great things he's doing, Mike Trout's still showing why he's the best player in the baseball game, Northern game of baseball. And there's nothing else I can say about Mike Trout. Shohei Ohtani, at the Bucks, he's all been all right. He's been all right. He hasn't been as solid hitting like he was last year. And he hasn't, and he's definitely, and I definitely do think the pitching is a lot better than the hitting. But I think Shohei can work out his hitting stuff and everything. And it's gonna take some time. But I am happy when Ohtani occasionally gets a double and a hit. He really freaking killed it in the Boston series, especially the game he pitched against Boston. I know that's in May, but he really did do a good job. All right, now I do think right now he's pitching a lot better than he is hitting right now. And I'm not one of those idiots that say, no, he probably should stick to pitching because of it. No, he still gives us a qualified bat in the lineup that you still have to be wary of, because you give him a wrong pitch, he'll knock it out the park. He's that strong. But in my eyes, his pitching side is looking a lot more dominant more than his hitting side. I think hitting wise, I think he's like in the mid 200s. He's like in that 230, 240 range, if I remember right now he's at. But that's kind of the whole thing there. Ohtani, he's been pushing some gems. The only bad start I thought he had was that start against the Rangers, but after that, he's been lights out, really. He was great in the opening day game. He literally only held the Astros to, I believe, it one or two runs from what I remember, and he gave the Angels a good chance to win the game. The only thing is the Angels never freaking were able. No, yeah, he only held the Astros to one run. He truly, kept the Angels in the ball game. The Texas Rangers start was obviously we got pulled early because the Rangers just got to him for some unforsaken reason. And then Shohei Ohtani, he plays the Astros again and he gets his payback and he absolutely takes them out. Mind you, let me just say this. He is schooling Jeremy Pena from the Astros now. Jeremy Pena for the Astros has been playing good as of late, but he was schooling him the first two matchups, man. That man had his number. Hopefully that's something that's things to say, but he's honestly Shohei Ohtani's had the Astros number. The Astros just can't figure this dude out this year. He's just been cruising and dealing against those guys. And stuff like that. He had a start against the Guardians. He struggled a bit in that game, but he's still really good in that game too. He pitched. And I thought so far Ohtani's pitched really well. He pitched really good in that Red Sox game, but like I said, that's May. And everything. But yeah, it was some good stuff there. Trying to think of any other start he's had. Yeah, I think he's had those games were good. So yeah, Anthony Rendon, I do think he needs to pick it up, but I will say this, his defense has been great. There was that one game where he was just great defensively. Hopefully Rendon's bat awakens now. He hit the walk-off today, which was good. So yeah, I hope Rendon starts to hit better because I think he's definitely not hitting what he gets paid, but then again, you can arguably say he's just getting paid by us because of his defense, because we needed a third baseman that can actually play legit defense, and stuff like that. Jared Walsh, he's been good. What else can I say about Jared Walsh? He's been just dope, doing what he's doing and everything. So yeah, Brandon Marsh, I think he's been solid. It's definitely not been impressive. There was that one stretch at the start of the season. He was really good. As of late, he hasn't been as good, but I think Brandon Marsh is still a good player and everything. Stassi, he's been fine as well. And stuff like that. Andrew Velasquez, he's been very good defensively. Offensively, he hasn't been the best. So hopefully his offensive game picks up, but defensively, he's really freaking good. But regardless, offensively, he's not giving us anything. I know I didn't mention any of the other players, but that was kind of some of my breakout standout players. Patrick Sandoval, he's been solid. That one White Sox game truly messed him up. And he only gave those runs because Adele was making blunders in the outfield, and stuff like that. But Patrick Sandoval has been solid. Noah Syndergaard, he has been solid. That only one bad start I believe he had was against the Boston Red Sox. But other than that, I think he's looked good. Michael Lorenzen, if you ask me, I think he's had one bad start. The rest of them have been quality starts, especially his almost complete game, which Joe Manning should have just taken him out at the top of the ninth, or in the top of the ninth after he gave like two back-to-back hits. So yeah, but he's looked really good. Um, and that's true. Reed Detmers. I think he's looked all right. He still hasn't impressed me. But again, when you ask for a rookie, pretty much a young pitcher coming into the MLB in the big leagues, for his second season, and he's kind of a main integral feature. Sorry. But I think he's looked all right. I forgot one game he looked really good. I believe the one game, it was the Guardians game when we played the Guardians. I think that was like his best start of the season. But everything else, he's kind of been like, and stuff like that. So hopefully he improves. And like I said, if we do trade Adele, I hope a trade that we make at the deadline is we trade for another rotational piece to add to the starting rotation, because I don't know what the hell's going on with the whole thing. They sent Suarez down because I think he's just not cutting it, and he hasn't been impressive at all. He can't even go 5 innings. He only goes like about 4 innings, and then he's just done. And then 2, he gets a high pitch count like early on in the game because he's not throwing strikes. He's throwing balls. He's got the stuff in my eyes. He's just not, he don't have command, and I think he's just not ready yet. So yeah, I think the Angels might need to look into investing into another rotational arm to replace that 4th spot, unless I guess they're just waiting for Griffin Canning to come back and see what he gives us. So yeah, that's kind of the thing there. But the pitching department has been good. In terms of the bullpen, so far it hasn't been the blow pen where they blow late leads and everything. They've typically done their job and hold them. The only time I saw a blow pen moment was almost that White Sox game where we blew it. And then obviously when freaking Ryan Tepera came in the opening day game and looked like he was about to give 5 straight jacks in a row. Oh, I remember that. I was literally screaming at the top of my lungs in the game, take the dude out. So yeah. But Aaron Loop and I would think Aaron Loop and Jose Iglesias. No, right now, Aaron Loop has looked the most impressive. Iglesias has looked impressive, but the reason why I say Loop looks a little bit more impressive is because Iglesias did have that one bad moment against the White Sox where he had to be taken out because he couldn't close the deal. And I right now I think Loop so far has looked like our best reliever of the game or of the team, and I'm very impressed. Archie Bradley, yeah, no, he's injured now, but he's looked solid in the opportunities he was given. Ryan Tepera, he's looked good. Congratulations on a baby boy, as well to Ryan Tepera. And again, Raisel Iglesias, he looks like a really good closer. He had that one bad hiccup in Chicago, but other than that, he's been lights out. In terms of the other players in the bullpen, I don't really care, to be honest. They're just your typical guys that are the embodiment of what the Angels have been in the bullpen, and that is the blow pen. So far, you got 4 guys that have been solid pieces. We're waiting for Archie Bradley to come back from his injury and stuff like that and see what he gives us. But the bullpen has looked a lot better than in years past when they were legitimately called the blow pen by my eyes. But so far they've been a bullpen, not a blow pen. So yes. But anyways, that's kind of it in terms of my thoughts of the Angels. I was very impressed with the fact that the Angels pretty much had a really good record in April, and they ended up being first place in the division. Good. That's great. Let's continue more of that going on for the rest of the season. The only problem with that statement is, like I said, it's early in the season and it's only 1 month. This team can definitely free fall whenever they choose like to feel free fall. And when that happens, then that's when I'm going to start ranting. But like I said, Angels look good this year. Hopefully, they make the playoffs, and me as a fan can get my hopes up. But till then, I'm not getting my hopes up for this team no matter what. How impressive they do look. I'll be happy for a win. I will. But until this team shows me that they're going to play in April, or I see on my television screen Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim and a ticker that says MLB playoffs, then that's when I'll be good. And that's when I'll have faith in the team again. But till then, no, I don't. It's been like how many years since we last made the playoffs? In 2014 when we got swept by the Royals? Yeah. So, again, call me a negative Nancy Angels fan. I just don't have no confidence in this team that they can actually make the playoffs. I think the free fall is going to come. I really do believe it. Some Angel fans don't think it's going to happen. I think it is, but the Angels will shock me. I want the Angels to shut me up. I want the Angels to shut me up as a critique and freaking very critical fan of this team because I've not been impressed with what they've given us in the past few years. I want them to shut me up. I want Angel fans to come at me and tell me, see, I told you so. But till then, it's like I'm gonna make the tweet. It's like I made a tweet and it's pinned at the top of my Twitter page. When the Angels fail to make the playoffs again, I'll be the first one to say, I told you so. And this team was never different. It's the same old Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. But hopefully they prove me wrong. Hopefully I'm proven wrong. Hopefully I eat my own words because that's what I ultimately want to do. I want to eat my own words. I want to be happy for the Angels, but the fan of me just can't because I don't want to get too lured into this team because when I get lured into this team, then I end up freaking being let down and being all pissed and everything. So far, the Angels have done solid in the month of May with a little bit. They didn't lose to the Washington Nationals that I thought they were going to lose this game to, but they somehow found a way to came back. Now they're going to go into a tough Tampa Bay Rays series, and they're going to have to take 2 of the 3 games in there. They can't lose to Tampa Bay Rays. And like I said, these are the type of games the Angels need to prove to me. These are the type of games that shows me, can you win playoff baseball? These are the type of games where you need to go beat the Tampa Bay Rays, who have been getting your number as of late, especially in Anaheim. And these are the type of games where you need to go out there and you need to win. The Tampa Bay Rays are a playoff caliber team. Beat these teams. The only way you're going to make the World Series is beating these teams. So the Angels got to beat the Tampa Bay Rays starting tomorrow. That's what they got to do, plain and simple. So we'll see how the first game looks. Noah Syndergaard is going to be on the bump tomorrow, so hopefully he looks good. Hopefully he looks a lot better than he did in his Boston Red Sox start. Then you got Reed Detmers, and then Ohtani is pitching in the game in the series as well. And then you're off to play the empty-less Oakland Athletics, which means, and what I mean by empty is there's damn near nobody in that damn stadium. That is still a football stadium in a baseball, but a baseball team's playing in it. And I swear, these fools lose to the Oakland A's, I'm gonna be pissed. Anyways, that's just my thoughts on the Angels. They look impressive. They look good. Time will tell of how good they'll look. So, yeah, if you guys like the video, leave a like. Put in the comment section your thoughts on the Angels and how good they look, and stuff like that, and what you thought that they did in April. I will be back next month to discuss the Angels when the month of May is over with. Hopefully by then, like I said at the start of the video, the Angels are somewhere still in that first/second place position. Because if they get to third place, then that's when I'm going to be like, oh, here it comes. Told you. But we'll see. We'll see. There's still a lot of baseball left. Angels, like I said, for the rest of the season, these are my 3 steps. Win series or split them. And 2, beat the teams you need to beat. Those are my 2 objectives if I believe the Angels were to make the playoffs. You got to beat the teams you need to beat. And that's taking series against them. So we'll see. Huge test for the Angels coming up against the Tampa Bay Rays tomorrow or tonight, because I think I'm gonna record this video. I'm gonna freaking upload this video today or Monday. So yeah, but other than that, that's kind of it. So if you guys like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts, and then hit the subscribe button if you want to get more Angels content or any other sports content I upload to the channel. Until then, guys, catch you guys later. Peace.